On this week's episode, we discuss, should brides pay for all the stuff for their bridesmaids, or do the bridesmaids pay? Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker podcast. I'm your host, Matchmaker Maria. If you're not following me, by the way, and some random person just sent you a link to this, please go follow me on Instagram, because guess what? This week is a hotline episode. So if you don't know, every couple of weeks, sometimes every week, we do a hotline episode. That's where people call in live and we answer those questions live. And if people always message me, when can I get on a hotline? You have to follow me on Instagram, because then I'll post it to my stories randomly, like, hey, I'm recording a hotline episode tomorrow. Who wants in? And then that's when you get to put your email in there to get a calendar invite with a Zoom link to join me in the studio live to ask your question. So now that we've talked about that, let's put that to the side. Let's talk about this week's co-host on the hotline. Our guest joining us on the couch at Ask a Matchmaker is comedian Caitlin Peluffo.
Hello. How's it going?
I love having comedians on for hotlines because you're really anthropologists.
What a nice term for people who tell dick jokes. This is very sweet.
Just proving it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're just proving it right there.
Yeah.
And I feel like you do have your, finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah, we take a look around. We see what's going on here.
And, to add some social cred here, our girl has been on Stephen Colbert and Comedy Central. And now she's on Ask a Matchmaker.
Yes.
Which,
third tier. There we go. Right up there with the credits. Put
only
it in my
wins.
profile.
Only wins. This better be on your bio now.
It is. It's going in my bio. I'm sending it out to clubs. Put it on the poster, baby. I'm actually excited. Thank you. There's nothing I love more than giving advice, especially about something I know nothing about. So
this is perfect.
Let's do it.
Sometimes, though, it does take a third eye.
Yes. Okay.
Or is that the right word? No,
I don't know.
That's not it.
That made me want to meditate.
But you know what I meant, though.
Okay.
Like,
yes.
sometimes it takes a person outside of your situation to give you the right advice.
Yes.
Because sometimes you're like too close. You've been holding on to that magnifying glass of your problems. And someone's like, can you just...
Yes.
Zoom out.
Take a step back and see it for what it is with all the components instead of just narrowed in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you and I met on another podcast.
Yes.
The J Train podcast.
Yes.
With the wonderful Jared Fried. How lucky are we to know him?
What a gem of a
amazing.
person.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's just a sweet guy. He's funny, so talented.
And there's a clip out there of us that I still get DMs about.
I was getting angry DMs too. People were like, what are you talking about? You don't do the mix.
So for those who don't follow Jared Fried, and you should also change that. So while you're at it, you're going to follow Matchmaker Maria, myself. You're going to follow Caitlin Peluffo, and you're going to follow Jared Fried because he's our friend. And why not? But I swear to you, so by the time this episode goes out, March, it's been 3 months, and I'm still receiving DMs from this stupid clip where he talks about how when he goes to a restaurant, he's given bread and olive oil and balsamic. He mixes it with the cheese.
With the shredded cheese, Parmesan, whatever the cheese is, he puts it inside the olive oil and the balsamic, and we're both Mediterranean babes who are like, what are you doing?
I mean, it's okay to put you dip the olive oil and you can put the salt on it.
Yes.
Or you could put the cheese on your own, but you're not making some...
No. And you're making goop. You're making just goop.
And then what was crazy is we doubled down and we're like, oh, there's no way. No, all of his followers are like, you don't do the mix?
Yeah,
and I'm like, I literally commented, please stop DMing me a Greek person on how to use olive oil.
Yes.
Has 700 likes or something insane.
Yeah.
But I still get messages every day like, you don't do the mix? And I go, are we still? I mean, look at us. We're talking about it now.
I mean, it's kind of insane. I told my dad and he was like, What do you mean they put the Parmesan inside?
I love that you told your dad. I told my parents too.
He's like, what do you mean? You can't be putting in the mix? He was like
my parents
upset.
Being Greek and we have different cheeses. They were like, Parmesan as in the cheese you put on spaghetti?
Yeah.
Not even feta? Halloumi? Just...
I feel like all the people who were like, yeah, we make the mix with the Parmesan, those people get married out of Carrabba's. So I think that was the day we discovered that there's different versions of white.
Yeah. This is when they talk about critical race theory. Yeah. This is what they should include.
There are different versions of white. Yes, absolutely.
Well, anyway, now that we're here, you're engaged. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm engaged. Oh, Jesus. I'm engaged. Me and my partner, fiance. I'm wearing a Dare shirt, so I don't feel like fiance really works. But me and my future husband, we've been engaged for like 2 years.
Dude, that's a long engagement.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We got super excited when we first got engaged. We're like, yes, we're going to get married. This is going to be so great. And then we did the tour of the venues to see where we wanted it. We made a list, everything. We were so gung-ho. And then we found out how much everything cost. And it just put us in such a sticker shock that we kind of just froze. And now we started talking a year and a half later. We started talking to his cousin who is a wedding planner. And so we're doing the slow steps forward to finally plan a wedding. But we got so shocked by how much a wedding would cost in New York City that we just
in New York? You were looking in New York? Wow.
Well, his family's in Syracuse. My family's in California. And
St. Louis.
yeah. But it was like all of our friends are in New York. And so it's like, we want to have a big party. I've been in New York for 15 years. So it's basically my other family is all in New York. So we're going to figure it out. But we have some plans. We think we're just going to do a small intimate wedding on like a Saturday with just the family, and then have a big old party on a Sunday so all of our friends can come.
I love that.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding of a couple I set up the day of Sandy hurricane coming.
Oh.
So they had to move up their wedding before curfew. So it went from like being like a 3 p.m. wedding to like a 9 a.m. wedding.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to remember if it was in Brooklyn. I'm pretty sure the wedding took place in Brooklyn. But anyway, what they had done was it was like a bar, like a grill. Mm-hmm. But they had like a big space. So they did the wedding there. And then this is 2012, huh?
Okay.
So the party begins, like the wedding is over. Okay. I think they came out in Star Wars music.
Good. Yes.
And then suddenly, they kiss, and then Gangnam Style begins.
Oh my God.
And we all started dancing.
Yeah,
Again,
that's fun. That's fun.
This is a 9 a.m. wedding. Okay.
Context is important.
It was amazing. It was probably one of my most favorite weddings. It was like maybe 60 people. I've been to so many weddings. That's probably top 5.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's about the couple.
Yes.
Nobody gives a shit where you have it. Nobody cares even what they eat.
Yeah.
If they're talking about what they ate, that means that your wedding sucked.
Yeah. That's good to know.
It's true.
That's good to know.
Right? So everyone's done the sit down dinner. Everyone's done that. You can just have it somewhere a lot of fun. You know, wear that vintage white dress. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, just have a party for the people that you love.
Yeah.
And then, so that wedding, I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
I think about how we all had to be wrapped up by 1 p.m.
That's
I was home
so
by
funny.
2 p.m. because of living in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like, I should stop by like the supermarket and get stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, which supermarket should I go to? These are core memories of mine. So I went to Gristidis because it's... Who really goes into Gristidis?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever been in one.
People who want to like last minute shop and just pay $4 more for things that are going to expire today.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let's go. Don't sue me, Gristidis. Anyway, and so I went into the Gristidis, and I remember a woman's like, I'll never forget this for as long as I live. A woman is in line, and she's like, she turns to her roommate, and she's like, "Do you think we need to buy batteries?" Like, remember when we were still making jokes about Sandy? Like, no one, were you here during Sandy? No one was taking it really seriously.
Yeah. People didn't really understand how big it was going to be.
Yeah, I went to Gristidis. I remember I bought ice cream. That's what I bought.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to need for this hurricane? Ice cream.
Yes. As you should.
As you should, right? And so the woman behind me is like, do I need batteries? And the woman's like, do you? And she's like, well, what uses batteries?
Oh,
and they
God.
look at each other, and then they start laughing. And there's a guy, and I turn around to like laugh along.
I get it. I'm in on the wink.
The funniest part for me was the guy behind who was just like, whoa, like that. Like, it was just like a perfect, I was like, please, you marry each other now. Like, I was like, he's cute. He laughed at your joke. Let's make it happen, right?
Yeah.
What'd you do on Sandy? What did you do 14 years ago?
I mean, I remember because I had just started working. I just got hired at a new restaurant, and I was living in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and I just got hired, but I was supposed to come in the next day. But they did a soft opening, and they were like, okay, don't worry about coming in. We're not going to need it. And we're like, okay. So I stayed at home. I played Monopoly and hung out with my friends. That's what we did. And then the next day I went in, And they were like, it was the craziest night of our lives.
Wait, did you have power?
Yeah, we had power.
God,
we
you
never
and I had such different Sandy experiences.
I believe we had power. The next day, it might have been out for a couple hours, but we were fine.
So I was a single woman.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't want to do this alone. Mm-hmm. So I called a friend.
Yeah. Oh, a special friend.
A special friend.
A battery friend.
A battery friend. Although he didn't need batteries. And no, I mean, listen, if I'm calling you over during this, like it all has to be working. We're going to have a good time. Like I need a guarantee.
Yeah.
Anyway. And what I remember about this is that in my bedroom, I lived in Chelsea and in my bedroom had this like really big window.
Okay.
That faced east.
Okay.
And it was like, I think it was like at midnight. I mean, it was really bad. It was like so bad. I remember a facade down the street of like a building had fallen and like there was just like all these things happening. Like, you know, you just looked outside. I was on the 5th floor and I was just like, wow, like this is anyway. So as I'm looking out the window, just kind of just seeing what's happening, suddenly this bright blue light lights up the sky.
Oh God.
And I swear to everything that is holy. Okay. I literally thought, in that moment, wow, this is when the aliens are going to invade. Like I really thought, oh my God, like it was that light that comes out when it beams at Independence Day. Yeah. It was that light. And I was like, this is when they've chosen. Like, are you serious?
Will Smith, come save us.
In that split second, that was my thought. And I turned to the guy because we were both looking and we're like, what was that? And then the power just goes out. Like everything goes out. And the only thing that's lit is the Empire State Building, which I could see from my window, the top, but everything else is just dark. Like we're dark. And I'm like, I bought ice cream. Yeah. We got to eat it now at like 1 a.m. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was not prepared for this. And then I never thought about how like, I should have filled up the tub with water because now we're not going to have any water. And like, so anyway, so we go to bed and then we wake up in the morning and it looked like the day after tomorrow outside because I look outside my window on 8th Avenue. And you just saw hundreds. I mean, I swear, Caitlin, you saw hundreds of people with backpacks just walking north because we had all lost power. So everyone's trying to get to power because you don't have, when you're in a building, you don't have water. There's no water pump.
Crazy.
And I didn't know what was happening, right? I don't have the news.
Yeah.
My iPhone's running out of battery.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm like, And so we see these people. We're like, I guess we should. So I took up I had an office in Midtown. So I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to put stuff in my backpack and just head up.
I'm going to follow this guy.
I'm going to follow these people.
What they're doing, all these sheeple. I'm going to follow them. Yeah.
And that was my Sandy. I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but.
That's crazy.
But very different experience. You played Monopoly.
Yeah, I played Monopoly in
I had to
power.
live in a couch. I was couch surfing for a week upstate. Might as well be.
Yeah.
In the Upper West Side. I was couch surfing for a whole week. We didn't have power for I think 8 days.
Wild. Yeah, we had power the whole time.
Did you guys have more traffic because people were hungry from Manhattan who were like,
everybody in
provide
Brooklyn
me food.
in our little neighborhood was just like, this is a storm, so let's go eat. And so they literally went to the town, restaurant that just opened. It was one of like 3 on the block and they were packed. They were slammed. Wow. And so I started the next day and they were packed again. And it was very lucrative for me.
Meanwhile, I was calling my parents and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make this month's rent. I'm like nervous right now. Yeah. That was wow.
Yeah.
And we're only a few miles apart. That's crazy.
That's why Brooklyn gets a bad rap, but you should all live in Brooklyn.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. I think Brooklyn is definitely are you kidding? Now I think Manhattan gets the bad rap.
Yeah. Now Brooklyn's kind of where it's at and it's great and stable. But when I was there, I think, what was that?
Yeah.
It was like
a long time ago.
My mom was like, "Are you sure you want to live in Brooklyn?"
I lived in Brooklyn for 6 months. I lived in Brooklyn for 6 months.
Oh, where?
Greenpoint.
Yeah, I love Greenpoint.
But Greenpoint in 2008.
Yeah, very Polish.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah, now it's very vintage chic.
Yeah, there's a Whole Foods. There's like a Whole Foods down the block. And I remember being there. I remember moving there thinking, I just moved back to America. And one of my only friends who lived in New York was like, Brooklyn's where it's at. Williamsburg, Greenpoint. And I was like, oh, she's cool. I'm going to listen to her. And fine, I found an apartment. I moved in with this lovely woman. And oh my God, the following day on the train, I was like, no, this is not it. And I was like, I have to find an apartment in Manhattan. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I can, because it was a very different time,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
now, fuck it. Sure.
Yeah. I love Brooklyn. I've been there. This is my second year in Astoria, but everything
wow.
before that I was in Brooklyn.
So now you're in Queens.
Yeah, I'm in Queens.
Do you have a Greek landlord?
I do. He's very Greek. He owns a flower shop.
What's his what is his last name ended? You don't have to say his last name.
I was going to say Ike.
Is it KIS or DIS? Or is it Opolis? Oh, he's a Cretan. Huh. That's where my husband's from.
I can't pronounce his last name. I also have not tried very often. So, but George, he's the best landlord I've ever had.
What other name would it be if it was, my husband's name is George and everyone else's name? That's the most popular Greek man's name, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's so sweet. He's the best. He keeps our plants nice and lively.
Oh, because he's a florist.
Yeah, he's a florist, so the plants always look good. He's always sweeping out front, and he's just the best.
You tell him you know me.
Okay.
Tell him like I hung out with a Greek person today.
Okay. I will. He'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you're here for a hotline episode.
Hotline.
Are you ready to take some questions?
Yes, I'm so excited.
All right. I wish everyone came in with this kind of enthusiasm. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. And to my good fortune, I'm speaking to someone planning a wedding because my question or situation has to do with an upcoming wedding.
Okay.
And I'm excited to have your Zoom out as someone who is thinking about being a bride and but not emotionally connected to my circumstance.
Okay.
I'll give as much context as quickly and short as possible. I was asked to be a bridesmaid some months ago, and the friendship has kind of deteriorated over the course of those months. And we've been less in touch and we've been less close. And the wedding is in a couple of weeks. And originally I was asked to give a speech at the wedding, but now I'm the ringer. I'm giving the first toast before they open the floor at the rehearsal dinner instead. And I suspect that has something to do with the following. About 10 days ago, I saw photos of the bachelorette party in Cancun, to which I was not invited.
Okay.
When I reached out to the bride to say, did I miss something? She said, yeah, you told the lead bridesmaid in November that you couldn't make it. I said, that's not the case. So she said, just a minute. And she looked in her email and she said, oh goodness, here's the email from September about my bachelorette party in February. It looks like she had a typo in your email address.
Oh, yeah.
To which the lead bridesmaid, Maria's face and your face are matching how I still feel about this a good 10 days later, texted me saying, oh, whoops, sorry about that typo. Hope we can get past it and have a great time at the wedding.
That's not even appropriate. I would have been like, if that were me, first of all, you get a return. I know you have a question here, and I'll get to it. But we have
that's the question.
Oh, okay. Let's comment then.
Yes.
Okay. So first off, if you send an email and it's got a typo, it goes return to sender.
Yes.
So let's just talk about that for a second. That she ignored that.
Yeah.
But second of all, her apology is not an apology.
No, it's not. It's like oh, can't believe that happened. Crazy.
I would be so mortified.
Yes.
That I think I would spend $1,000 making sure the bride and this person have a day of fun in my expense. Just to smooth whatever just happened over.
Also, you didn't hear back from her. So why wouldn't you follow up? And be like,
also,
hey,
why would they penalize you?
Yes.
By making you...
That's crazy. That's insane.
Okay, you go.
I mean, I think that's really rude. I think my Italian brain is like, well, that's a conspiracy. They did it on purpose. And that's me spiraling.
What is your title here? Like, what are you to this person?
I am a bridesmaid.
How many bridesmaids?
I think there are 4 or 5 bridesmaids.
How many bridesmaids are you going to
have? Just 3, my 2 sisters and my niece. That's it. Yeah. But I hate that for you. I'm sorry that happened to you, first off. That seems really mean and cold. Also, I mean, what is your question? Like, are you not going to do the wedding anymore? Should you not go? Or what is your question? Like, what are you thinking around this? Because like what I would do is just like suck it up, do it, and then kind of just because it's so close to the wedding, and then just kindly step away after the wedding and just be like, well, we had our time and that was a nice friendship. Because the fact that your friend also didn't occur to the bride to be like, oh, why can't you come? Or to even say it to you.
Why did she even text you? Like, oh,
yeah,
are you
why
really
was
not
there no
coming?
text?
I'm so bummed.
Yeah, why was there?
You found out through photos being posted?
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Like you should have known and be like, oh, I never got the email. And then that could have been rectified in September.
Let's go a little deeper into this. How much money were you planning on giving this bride before this?
I mean, that's a great question.
Well, parentheses, where are you from? Because I know in Long Island and New Jersey, we pay for our plates. So
I'll say this. The dress cost, $150. The alterations.
Whoa, you paid for the dress?
For my dress for the wedding.
Oh my God. I did not allow anyone
Yeah.
in my wedding party to pay for their dress.
I assumed it was the bride who paid for the dress.
Is she making you pay for makeup?
Yeah, I have to pay the hairstylist, plus she included a 20% tip.
That's crazy.
You do your own hair.
That's nuts.
What?
Yeah, it's supposed to be you hire the makeup artist.
How old is this bride?
Who is the bride?
How old is this bride? I don't even know her
Name names. No, don't name names.
The bride is 37 years old.
She should know better. She's old enough to know.
Is she hecka poor?
I don't know.
Did you ask if she's poor?
Yeah, is she hecka poor? Like, is it like
if you're poor, then you get one bridesmaid.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Who told you to have 5?
Yeah, that's crazy. Who's paying for the wedding?
I have no idea.
Well.
Me?
Yeah, I think it is you.
Okay. Let's zoom out. You go to a wedding. You're a guest at a wedding. You're not a member of the bridal party. You are a guest at a wedding. How much, for a good friend, do you typically give when you're at a wedding?
Is that question for me or for you?
Yeah, that's for you. Yeah.
I gotta admit, I lived abroad for many years. And I'm in my 40s now, so it's always a question. I don't know what the etiquette is.
What do you feel comfortable with? What can you afford? What do you?
$180.
$180?
Is that low? Is that high?
I've never heard anyone use the 80. It's always like 100, 150, 250.
Yeah.
Like the 5 O's come in,
Yeah.
So 180 is really, wow,
very
180
specific.
is generous. You got to invite her
The
to your
Jewish
wedding.
community. The Jewish community gets
hold up.
multiples of 18.
You're Jewish?
Oh,
is the
okay.
bride Jewish?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
We got to solve this because you know what? I want people to send this clip to all brides from now on. So let's make up the rules here, okay?
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
All right. You're getting married.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You have 3 people in your bridal party.
Yes.
You are paying for their dresses?
I would assume so. Yeah.
And you are paying for their hair and makeup?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That I knew. That is just like, I wasn't sure if I was going to have them dress up in the same outfit.
There's a website. That's what I did.
Uh-huh.
There's a website. I forget what it is right now. They get sponsored the next episode if they want me to name drop them. But there was a website that I used where I just chose the color and then I gave them 100 dresses styles to choose from.
Oh, okay. That's
And then
nice.
they chose based on their body type what dress it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And it all came in the same color. So then it got billed to me.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
And it was nice.
I could see
like $125 a dress.
Yeah, that's great.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I would do that because then everyone looks part of your bridal party, but they all get to feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay. So I feel like that to me, that's the standard. Now, in terms of I asked her before, what kind of gifts would you give? Mm-hmm. What do you normally give as a gift when you go to a wedding?
I give just cash. I think depending on
But
how close I am. If I don't know you very well, it's 100 a person. So me and my boyfriend, if we don't know you, it'd be like 100 from me, 100 from him. So 200 you get. If I know you very well, it doubles. So it's 200 a person. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we
I feel like that is for me too. If I don't know you that well, it's going to be $100 per person. Both me and George get 100.
Yeah.
And then if I do know you well, it'll be probably I usually go with 150 per person. So it's 300 and if they're my best friend, then it might be 250 per person.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now I want to go back to her. The fact that she said 180 just for her, that's like really generous.
Yeah, that is generous. And plus you're already paying for your hair and makeup and all this stuff.
Well, I don't know how much she would have given her friend now because she's not part of the, like if I was in the bridal party, I know it's 500. Like
Really?
I already know I'm giving. I'm part of the bridal party. Like I want this is my best friend. I got a
okay
extra wish here, you know.
Okay.
You're gonna be part of my life, you know.
Yeah. What are your plans now? Are you going to still give her that much money?
No.
Yeah. I think that's smart.
I am curious for your feedback. This is enlightening and I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have to show up with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And I know that I have to not have daggers in my eyes. I mean, I hold both the bride and this bridesmaid accountable. And the bridesmaid is not a friend of mine, but had my number.
Yeah.
And any mantras or ideas that you have in your head for how I show up to grin and bear it in the face of this.
I need you to book some morning sex that day.
Yeah.
That is going to help you so much. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, or get batteries. We talked about the beauty of batteries.
Batteries or morning sex, like something that's going to like.
Yeah, really.
Get you there before you got to go there.
Yeah, and plan on leaving early. You know, that's also okay. Have something to do afterwards that you really look forward to.
Have something to do after a wedding.
Yeah.
Go to a comedy club.
I mean, maybe. Or go to meet your friend for a drink at a bar so you can vent to them. You know, something like that where your whole day isn't consumed by this negative event. You know, you do the wedding and then you go.
I would fake it. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
And
you're already the bigger person.
You're already the bigger person. I mean, the fact that you're paying for your hair, makeup, and dress for a 37-year-old getting married.
That's crazy.
Shit. I $125.
Yeah.
That's all they get.
$12. Excuse me, increments of $8. $18. Or no, what is it? I don't even know. $16. Yeah. I don't know.
How much was the dress?
The dress that I got was about $150 and the alterations are matching.
Are you kidding me? That's crazy. Don't give her anything. Goodbye. And she also had her bachelorette party in Cancun. How much are you spending on this woman?
I spent nothing on Cancun because I wasn't invited.
Well, yes, of course. But all these other women.
Cancun ain't cheap.
Cancun ain't cheap. You may have dodged a bullet there.
And in February?
Yeah, no, that's
Is
not.
this like a destination wedding too?
No, it is not a destination wedding.
Because then I would tell you to just cancel.
Just don't go.
You can't make it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what you could do? You could send her this audio clip or YouTube video the day after a wedding.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You've been put on blast,
in
bitch.
the wedding card, you know, with your $18 check.
Yeah.
For more info. You know what? Okay, look, I think you wouldn't be calling in if the bride did not. First of all, this interaction with the bride, was this on the phone or is this all over text?
It was all over text. I eventually called her. Neither the bridesmaid nor the bride called to apologize.
And
again, the bridesmaid's apology was, sorry for my typo. Hope we can get past this.
I mean, that's insane. That is the text of a
so
teenager.
Mortified.
Yeah.
I would be so mortified if I did this to any of my friends.
Yeah.
Like I would be downright. I was like, well, how much is this little boo-boo that I just did going to cost me? I would be literally writing out a check.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? You're going to Cancun now.
Yeah.
Both of you. This is my fault. I'd be so mortified at the idea of what just happened. Okay. And the fact that the bride did not call you apologizing is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
This is not. I think about the girls that I'm closest to, that I would have in my wedding party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
would want them all there. If you're in my wedding, you're coming to my bachelorette party. We're going to figure it out. Or I'm going to know why you can't come to my bachelorette party. You're in my wedding. You're in the pictures that are going to hang on my wall until my grandchildren see it. You know what I mean?
That's why you got to look really fucking hot at your wedding. So she can see your face from now on for the rest of your life.
Your tits and your chin. Okay. Look good, baby.
look good.
But I'm sorry that happened to
I'm
you.
sorry that
really
happened to you.
sucks.
You should still go to the wedding.
Yeah, you still got to go. But
Still
just like,
gotta go. Don't let your
woosah.
story be like, oh, she didn't, like, don't, you get to control the narrative here.
Mm-hmm.
Be super fucking nice. Give the best speech ever. Be effervescent.
Yeah.
Effervescent. I want people to be like, who's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the white strips on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
get your perfume. In Brooklyn, they got some perfumery. Where you can like make your own scent, get your own scent, and then do what, find your closest Persian woman. Some of them wear like the pheromone perfume.
Oh.
Become friends with one of those women. Get the pheromone so people be like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like be that girl.
Be that bitch.
Be that bitch. And then,
bitch. And then leave.
And then leave, yeah.
And then leave.
Meet up with a friend.
I would honestly probably think about cutting them out of your life completely. That just sounds awful. Yeah. So.
I imagine someone.
Yeah. I mean, I can't.
I feel like if you are going to ask me to be a part of your wedding, you need to list everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
So that I can opt in to this experience or not, right? I would not feel comfortable being a bridesmaid in a wedding where I don't know how much the dress is going to cost me, how much the makeup is going to cost me, how much the hair is going to cost me, and also what are your expectations of me throughout this period of your engagement? Like, is there a destination bachelorette party? All that stuff, because these all have expenses.
Yeah.
And and they're also like, I've got childcare.
Yeah.
Right. Like I got to think about other things too. So it's like, I need to know. I think if you're going to be a bride and you're going to do these things, I always think about this. I've been to a few weddings where they have like 12 people on each side.
Yeah.
And how do you have that many close friends to do that? Like,
Are they close friends? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't have 12 close friends.
But also like, I'm always like, did you pay for all these people?
Yeah.
And like, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's wild.
Wow. Well,
What a way to start.
that was excellent. Thank you so much for calling in.
And good luck.
Good luck to you.
Please
When
DM
is the
us with how
wedding?
it happens.
What month is the wedding?
The wedding is in early May. And I just want to say I will be channeling both of you the whole thing. May you have no mishaps like this at your wedding. Best of luck and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You've taught me a lot.
Your sisters have to come.
My sisters have to come to the wedding?
I mean, they're going to be, and forget that they're in your bridal party. They have to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you've got a shoe in of good, like,
Yeah.
it's like,
well, it's more like,
and make your parents pay,
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Bill, you got to cover Jessica. Yeah. Well, thank you for your call, because that has taught me the list thing is good. I think I should do that with my sisters. Be like, this is what I hope to do with us, and just give them a heads up so that if there is a missed email, we all know about it. We all know what to expect.
Yeah.
None of this. Oh, there was a typo. Cop out bullshit. I hate that.
Could you imagine that to your sister?
Oh my God.
Sister, there was a typo in your email.
My older sister, Sarah, would literally fly across the country just to smack me across the face. A typo? Bitch, I have 2 kids. I'll see you at Christmas, you dumb hoe. Like, just beat the shit out of me. Yeah. Anyway.
I laugh so weird on this podcast. I'm like silently vibrating here. Okay, let's go to our next question. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun for us.
Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Hi, how are you two?
We're great.
Good. We're great. How are you?
Good. Good, thank you. So I have a question. So I'm 36 and I usually go to like 3-ish weddings per year. And so this year I also have a college reunion and a family reunion. And as a single person, sometimes these things are daunting because you feel like a 3rd or 9th or, name some odd number wheel. And I don't want to be like that. I want to just go there and be like 100% so happy for my friend. And instead of like 95% happy, 5% kind of stealing myself for like, oh, like, are you seeing somebody? I'm like, no, And, so I'm doing this stuff on my end in terms of, I'm on the apps and follow Maria. And so I'm trying to go to more live events and, that's all great, but it obviously takes time. So I was just wondering if the two of you have any advice for both in advance, how to like get my mindset right so I can sort of like be really focused on the events and not like, it's going to be one of, you know what I mean? Like people are going to ask these questions or like, kind of be a little awkward as a single person, and then also for how to navigate the weird stuff that people always feel like they can and should say to you as a single woman in your mid-30s.
Oh yeah, like the it'll happen and what all that bullshit. Yeah, what do you? I think this is a great question for a professional.
Caitlin. I think she said a few different events. Mm-hmm. And she said family reunion, college reunion, and then weddings.
Yeah.
And I think all those things have a different person coming into those events, right? Like, if you're going to weddings, no one can, my initial thought was, well, nobody can ask you who you're dating if you're dancing.
What a good, boogie a lot.
I'm being serious. Like, it is way more fun to be the person who had fun at the wedding than to have these conversations at the wedding.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm just like, my initial thought. Like, I remember going to a wedding with one of my best friends when she was single. Like, we were my husband was, actually, no, this was a month before me and Georgia got married. I went a month ahead to Athens because when I was getting married, so here's my wedding story, right? When I was a bride, I got married in Greece. And to me, it didn't feel like a destination wedding because we had 300 people at our wedding. 200 of them lived in Greece.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
And it happened like during capital controls. Like there was like a crisis in like the economy collapsed. So like you couldn't even take money out of the bank. So I knew that like most people were only going to give me 20 euros or $20. Yeah. To like as a gift. Like that's all they could afford. And that was fine. I'm not trying to make money off my wedding. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing a big ass party. So, what I found interesting was I had to fly a month ahead because none of my vendors knew they would be in business when my wedding was happening. So they were like, meet with us a month ahead. Yeah. And you're going to give us 50% then. And then the other 50% the day of your wedding. Okay. As if this is what I want to do as a bride is like handing out money. Yeah. And well, anyway, so I went a month ahead and one of my college friends was getting married. So, my fiance wasn't there. So I was like, I told my bridesmaids, one of my bridesmaids, I was like, we both knew this girl. I was like, why don't you come with me? And she was single. And she's going to a wedding with a girl who's engaged. Yeah. She also, we know we're not sitting at a singles table. We're sitting at the couples table. Yeah. And she doesn't want to, and I knew that my friend, she didn't have to say this to me. I knew that my friend does not want to be in a weird situation of like, who are you dating? It'll happen when you least expect it. So instead I was like, even though she was my +1, I was like, I'm going to be her +1. Like I'm going to be the best date ever. So essentially the moment we got there, we were the first, like right after the bride and groom danced, I was like, let's go. Like we're on the stage and because it was like their stage setup. It was weird. It was on the beach and they like set up an artificial stage. Kind of thing. So, so I immediately took her onto the stage and we just danced until 5 a.m. Yeah. Like that's just nice. All we did. And it's funny, like you didn't have time to ask us questions. We were having the best time ever with the bride. Yeah. And I think, so when I say that, when I was saying like, those are 3 different kinds of events, right? So at a wedding, there is a way to circumvent those questions by being like, 1, you're going to call the bride. Are you friends with the bride?
For all 3.
Okay. I want you to call the bride today and be like, hey, as you know, I'm single. I want to sit in the singles table. Is there a singles table? Like, that's what you're going to ask her, essentially. Yeah. And just, like, take more control over what you're about to experience.
Yeah. Sit next to the people you're going to have the best time with. Yeah. I guess.
I want to dance at your wedding. I want to enjoy myself. Sit me with those people. Yeah. Right? I want to sit with those people. Because, 1, if you're with other single people, no one's asking you, why aren't you married yet? Yeah. Yeah. But also, if she sits you up with someone who's fun, they know that's not a fun question. Yeah. So, like, you can control a little bit of the weddings. Now, family reunion, no, you're gonna have to suck it up, girl. I have no advice.
That's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to tell Nana to eat it.
But you can also lie. I'm sorry. Can we just talk about lying?
Yeah, you could be like, I'm
dating someone. I don't know where it's gonna go, but hopeful. Yeah, I'm open to new people though. If you have anyone,
we're not exclusive.
Yeah. Just lie.
Yeah, lie to your family. That's our advice. Lie to the people you love most.
And then I gotta say, have you ever been to a college reunion?
No. No.
It's funny. Tomorrow I have to go to an alumni event. There's only one every 5 years, but like,
Oh, wow.
I'm going to one of those. And my few interactions with like reunion events in college, first of all, most people don't come with their spouses.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, just because someone's married doesn't mean they're happily married.
Yeah, that's also very true. Yeah, we all know that couple where you're like, wow, you really went through with it. Okay.
And third, nobody cares at a college reunion. They all care about like what you do for a living and how can you help me in my career.
Yeah, that's
Am I
true.
wrong?
No, I mean, I would assume I went into art, so there's nothing I can. But also, this is something my therapist has taught me. It's the difference between being nervous and being excited. It's the only difference is your mindset. So right before a set, I go on stage and I say to myself, I'm so nervous, I'm so nervous, I'm so nervous, and my set is going to be worse. But if I go before my set, I say, I'm so excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. My set is 10 times better. So going into it, are you sad that you're single or are you excited at the possibilities? So if you go into these meetings and they're like, why are you single? And you're like, because I want to be and I'm so happy. Then you might come out with it with like a different experience rather than being like, I don't know, there's something wrong with me. You know what I mean? So
That's so good.
I think that might help before you go to these things. Be like, I get to be single. I am on my own. I write a list of all the things that you love about being single and just channel that energy going into every event. And I don't think I don't think it will bother you as much as when people ask you, about your relationship status. I think it's like, yeah, I'm an independent woman and look at me. You can't do that shit. You're married to this bald guy for 5 years. Okay. I'm free. So stay free, bitch. Stay free.
I mean, look, I think if she wants to be in a relationship, this is also an opportunity to be like, if someone brings up, be like, I would love to meet someone, which by the way, so many good stories of how people got with their person. Like, I think everyone thinks that everyone now meets people online, but that's still not the case. A lot of people meet at reunions,
that's
at
true.
weddings, through friends, at work. Like, this is still happening. And I think this is such an opportunity for you to like do what Caitlin said, like go with the mindset like, wow, I get to be single when I go to this event. What if my husband is there? What if my wife is there? Like you get to meet new people. And if they're not your person, guess what? Every single person's an opportunity. Maybe you meet Greg. Maybe Greg's got a brother.
Yeah.
I was just reading. Oh my God. So one of my girlfriends, her father passed away. And I have to go to his funeral in a couple days. And I was just reading his obituary. I have to read this one part. It was so moving to me. Okay. So he moved to the United States in 1969 to join his brothers from Greece. But exactly 3 years later, for the death of his father, he had to go back to Greece. Right? And someone there at the funeral thought they would like to introduce him to their niece, my friend's mom.
Yeah.
And they got married 3 days later.
Wow. Wow, that could be your college reunion.
But isn't that amazing? Like, and look, they looked happy to me. I can't say anything for my friends. I mean, I grew up with these people, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is someone that I've known since I was 3 years old. And they have incredible children, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have these 3 amazing kids. Their youngest is one of my closest friends, and I love her to death. And this person was like heavily involved in our community. My parents really liked him. They love both him and his wife. And, you always want to be there for a friend. But what I'm saying is like, listen, he met his person at his dad's funeral,
Yeah.
Anything is possible, essentially, is what I'm hearing, right? And I think if we look at people as opportunities, if we look at events as opportunities, whatever that event might be it a family reunion, a college reunion, or a wedding, you could meet your best friend. I mean, where did you meet your adult best friend?
My adult best friend.
Not one that was like social engineer, like you were in high school together.
Oh, yeah. Probably at a comedy show. I had just started doing comedy and we went to an open mic. She happened to be there. And
You hit it off.
And we hit it off. That was it. We just both happened. And there's over 50 open mics a day in New York City. And we happened to be at the same one. So
wow.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like you get to be a person's best friend, just like you get to be single and meet someone amazing. You know, like that's everything Caitlin said about mindset, I think is like the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right.
Yes. Caitlin's right. That was great.
Did that help?
I'll try it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. She'll try it.
I mean, I'm a list bitch. So I make lists all the time, especially when I'm really scared of something. I'll write a huge list of just the things that I'm grateful for and what I get to do and stuff like that. But I think it could really help. And it was given to me by my therapist. So it's technically secondhand
therapy.
That's
the kind of therapy we like here.
Yeah. I probably relaying it wrong, but I hope it works.
All right, we've got 2 more questions. Let's get the next one. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Thank you so much for having me. So I separated from my married partner last year, and I got divorced in January. So it's all pretty recent. Thank you.
I'm very proud of myself
right?
as well. This is happy news.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah.
And so when I started dating for the first time, which was a couple of months before I got divorced, I was just not ready. And on my first day of dating, I met someone who was amazing. And, this person really showed up for me, was very emotionally available. Like, there were a lot of green flags. And I was like hurtful and controlling and really kind of terrible. And so we broke up. It's, now several months after that, I've done, obviously the divorce came through. I've done a lot of therapy. He actually engaged in therapy as well. And we're now sort of like just really great friends. And I would like to actually date again. And he's very firmly drawing out a friendship, but he's very emotionally available. Like very little is different about this to how it was before. And he's being very, in any other situation, I would be like, okay, this guy's not emotionally available, let me walk away. But because we've been there before and because I was more the issue than him, how should I view this?
I don't know.
That's an answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, how often do you see or talk to this person?
Yeah.
Every day, like we were on FaceTime for like hours.
Facial reaction.
And he slept over this weekend.
Have you guys had sex?
Yeah, but with a very caveat on it that we're friends only.
Hold up.
Okay, I don't think you guys are friends
When
only.
was the last time you had sex?
Saturday.
All right, this is a point where we zoom out and we see that you are in a relationship.
Or at least a situation.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, okay? Is he your boyfriend?
No, because I mean, when we have broached this topic, what he has shared is that I hurt him a lot and he just doesn't know if he can trust me again. And these things are absolutely true because coming out of the divorce, like it was a very painful period and the person I was married to just lied to me a lot. And so every single time, he tried to get close to me, I just saw red flags and that was all on me. And so, what I've been doing in the last couple of months, a lot of therapy, pretty much every single drug on that psychedelic spectrum, but a lot of healing where now I realize what is my anxiety and what is my fear versus something that's actually happening. So when we started being friends again, the friendship has been beautiful and soulful and supportive. And for both of us, it's been like almost the best friendship almost straight away. And I wasn't expecting what happened over the weekend.
Hold up. I'm getting confused and we gotta
Okay.
zoom out now. Okay. All right. So you dated this person and you were, let's face it, a shitty
I was crazy.
dater.
I
Okay,
was
you were
crazy,
crazy.
yeah.
I love that we're owning this.
Hurt
We're owning
people.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
own
get
my
it.
crazy.
Hurt people. Caitlin said it. All right, and we got it. Secondhand therapy, right
Yeah,
here.
secondhand therapy.
All right.
Dare. Don't tell me about your drugs. I'm fucking okay. Anyway, I'm joking.
With that said, though, you started working on yourself. You created a friendship with this person. You are having sex with this person in this friendship, but he's at the same
Very
time.
recently, this was unexpected.
Oh, okay. So it's just the one-time thing that it happened.
Yeah, because it was really just we built up the friendship and the friendship was loving and supportive. Also, he did not angle for the sex, that was me. Like he's not there to get the sex. He is really just been a straight up great guy throughout all of this.
Okay, it's Monday. Have you guys spoken since Saturday?
Yeah, but in like a very functional way about it.
What does functional mean?
Thank you.
That we agreed that this was more like, we were just there for each other rather than this is a romantic
Well,
thing.
there's the answer that we have to believe. This is a person you had sex with. He is not interested in dating you. It is dead in the water. Some physical needs were met, and we can move on from there. What do you think about that?
I think I'm willing to accept that if I didn't have the relationship with him before.
It doesn't matter.
Because
it does
doesn't
not
matter
matter what relationship you had with before. He just told you this was a bloop in the radar, and oh, that's so fucking hurtful. I mean, even me saying it out loud is hurting me. Like, I'm giving you bad news right now because you're in the confused state, right? You built a friendship. You had sex. You're probably drunk on some dopamine from that, right? And probably some oxytocin, because that's what happens when we have sex, right? You like him. I hear it. You like this person.
But he loves me and we love each other.
But he doesn't want to date you.
Because I hurt him a lot.
He knows you go to therapy?
Yeah, we've both been in therapy. It was sort of like the both of us was a combustion.
But he just told you functionally that this was a one-time thing?
No, I don't think he said that.
Wait, what did he say?
Well, he's only available for friendship now. And that I shouldn't put all my chips in on him.
Great. I need you to believe him.
Okay.
And I'm really sorry to tell you that.
No, that's totally okay. But do you think, like...
It will never change.
You don't believe it will ever change?
No.
Even though we had a relationship before?
No. It will never change. And I'm going to tell you why. Ask any of your guy friends if they've ever said that line to someone that they thought that they could actually get married to. I literally have a male producer in this room who just went, am I wrong? No. He's like, no. He's telling you that this is he's basically friends with benefiting you right now. I just use that as a verb.
Yeah.
Acceptable. We can accept that. The English language is flourishing right now.
Yeah, it is. You're doing enough.
Yeah. You need to believe him, because just throw it back for a second, okay? There is no world where a straight man has sex with a woman that he really likes, that he wants to be in a relationship with. And I'm not saying there's no hesitation. They just shut their mouth. They would never say, oh, just so you know, we're still friends.
Yeah.
That would never happen. There's just no way. That's not happening.
And also it's a better for you if you believe that, because then you're not just waiting around for him to catch up with your feelings. You got to believe him now so that you can move forward.
I don't think you should be friends with this person, by the way. I think she's been manipulated now. Like, she's telling about how he loves her.
Yeah.
If you had no intention of, look, he ruined your friendship. It doesn't matter if you asked for the sex. He ruined your friendship, because it seems like you've put in the work. You like him. You're telling me that he loves you. And he had sex with you knowing that he's going to say to you after, just so you know, we're still friends. I'm not interested in anything romantic. That is a shitty friend, because he knew he was ruining his friendship in a subconscious level, at least. I refuse to believe that anyone is that idiotic. And now you're in this state of confusion where you're like, well, if not now, later. No. There's no later. And the sooner we believe him, the sooner we can move on. And his feelings about you, they're irrelevant here. It's how you feel about the situation. You feel confused right now. You feel anxious. You feel like there could be hope. And he's already telling you there's no hope. And I need you to believe him.
I think the reason why I struggle with that is before, when we dated, he was the person who pushed everything. Like, he wanted to move in together and I wasn't ready. And then I feel like the whole thing has sort of flipped on it. Whereas before I was the one who was like, I'm not ready. I don't know. I'm not sure about these things. And he was very much pushing the relationship.
Knowing full well that you weren't fully divorced yet?
yeah, he knew that I wasn't fully divorced, but I think that's kind of not that common.
Is he poor? Does he need to save on rent?
Yeah, because if you're not fully divorced, you would think that he would be a little more
That's
understanding.
why I don't think people should move in with each other until they're engaged. I'm a hard. I mean, like, there's some exceptions. Some.
We would not be an exception. You would hate us.
I know a few exceptions, and I'm like, okay, you've dated this long, fine, whatever. But if you're like the kind of person who's like, I want to get married in the next 3 years and have kids in the next 4 years, yeah, you're putting a ring on that because otherwise you're going to be with someone who's like, let's move in and then I'll give you the engagement later.
Yeah. And
I don't know anything. I don't know how old you are. I don't know what your goals are, but if he's talking about moving in and you're not divorced yet,
I think that's unfair to put that much pressure on you in that state.
Do you even know what you want? Like, you're still new in the dating scene again.
Yeah.
And apparently you had trauma from your previous marriage.
Yeah, I don't like this guy.
I don't even think you should be friends with him.
The more
I feel like you've replaced, I don't know anything about your ex-boyfriend except for like 2 sentences. I don't know anything about your ex-husband except for like 2 sentences. And I feel like you're dating the same guy again.
Yeah.
With a different name.
You might be renewing the cycle.
Do you have a therapist? You do, right?
Yeah, you're going to therapy.
I do. And I think they are abundantly different from each other. And I think, obviously these are just vignettes of situations of which we have to make a lot of assumptions around. But I do think that on the whole, like, there is a lot of wisdom in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after you have had sex, if it wasn't like the
finally we're here,
we've made it,
we can commit to each other,
and he's still doing no, we're just friends, I think that's a sign, and I think you should treat yourself by moving on. Don't
be friends with this person.
Yeah.
You deserve way more.
Yeah, and you got a great accent. You sound so sexy. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for calling in. I'm wishing you a lot of luck.
Yeah, we're wishing you a lot of luck.
A lot of healing.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Take care of you, I would say. Yeah.
You're doing great, Caitlin.
Am I doing okay?
You're doing awesome.
I'm freaking out.
Let's go to our last question. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker hotline. How can we help you?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my question. I really appreciate it. So I am 39 and I have been on Hinge, and I was talking with a guy for about a week. We were primarily chatting via the chat feature on the app.
I'm already mad at you. I'm already mad.
I know. Me too, actually. And then we Zoomed. We had a really great call. And then he said to me via text within a day or two later after we Zoomed, he said, the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And I really would value your feedback on this statement that he made. And I don't want to lose you again, so I'm not going to look at the screenshot that I took. So I'm going to try to recall from memory. He said, let's say miraculously this works out and we get to our end goal, which we both are seeking at the end goal is marriage in a relationship. And he said, will you let me ground you for a week for making me wait so long to find you? And I was like, I'm not into weird stuff or anything like that. And
there you
had
go.
Not been...
Yeah, that's it.
The end.
Yeah. Ground you? Like you're a teenage girl?
Hold on.
Flag, red
what was
flag.
your response to this? I have so many thoughts, so I need you to because go ahead. What was your response
in the
to this?
past, I think I would have been more cautious with my response because I would have wanted to protect myself and stay safe, but I'd never met him. He didn't even have my phone number. He doesn't know where I live or anything like that. So I felt like I could just be as
Oh yeah, I mean a Zoom
call
call is a nice touch because what do you do?
I just wanted to be extra safe, so I thought I would do that to vet him. We're a little bit of a distance from one another as well, so I thought that would be a good option. I said that is such a weird thing to say, or I might have said that's the weirdest thing anyone's ever said to me, just to kind of get a vibe for how he would respond. Because I'm like, maybe he's just like, maybe there's a reason for this, and I'm willing to give him opportunity to make up for it. Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did say something like, oh, he said it was meant to be lighthearted. I wasn't being serious. I apologize. And I was like, that's not enough I didn't say this to him, but in my mind, it was like, that's not okay with me. I don't ever want someone to speak with me. And I had the exact same thought that you just mentioned. What am I, a child? Like, this is freaky. was my thought. But I'm like, well, I am 39. We were hitting it off in so many other ways. So I was like, is he just like, is this nervous energy? Is he just like literally not thinking before he speaks? But I did end up cutting it off, but I still was kind of, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, what was that? Should I give him more of a chance? I just wanted some feedback.
All right. You go, Caitlin.
Well,
You're my guest. Why don't you talk a little bit?
My first instinct is like, was this dude trying to be funny? But that's also, I'm a comedian, so I'm always used to men being like, I can be funny, and then they're not funny, and you're like, oh God, But also grounding is, I think of dominating. I think of someone who's trying to control you, and that immediately in a dating, you have to think about context. And in a dating context, you don't want those words anywhere near your relationship. So even if he thinks he's being funny, there's always a kernel of truth. And I think that he's probably a controlling person. And I think you made the right call of cutting it off.
Okay.
What do you think?
I am picturing being grounded by an adult.
Yeah.
So like, what I mean by this is like, I have been in a situation, where like you met someone who was like sexually dominant? And they use like very specific language, kind of like trying to emulate like 50 Shades of Grey or like that kind of life. And then it's like, well, what happens if someone gets grounded as an adult? You're going to like react. You're going to have like a physical reaction, right? Your dopamine's going to skyrocket. Maybe you're going to be banging on the wall a little bit. Like this is a sexual context. Like you said, context matters, of like, someone's trying to take away your agency. Someone's trying to take away your mobility. And that is exciting for both people in the sense that the excitement for her and in this scenario is that like the anxiety levels pop up, the dopamine levels pop up. Like you have a physical reaction, even though that exciting is actually really negative.
Yeah.
Right. And for him, it's exciting because it's arousing to this person.
Yeah.
Right. And that small thing, by the way, I feel like now it replicates in other ways. So I just want to say like, there's multiple layers that I'm going to cover here for a second, right? So the first part is that here is what happens when that happens. Here is how it replicates in other scenarios if you were to date this man. So if you dated this man, he might also try to like control other things, right? He might try to take your agency in other ways. He might also punish you in ways that you might find a little bit immature. For instance, like maybe he won't call you for 2 days when you're in a fight because he wants to punish you again, even though you might be right. Like, oh, hey, this didn't make me comfortable. Oh, well, he'll make his own excuse. And then he's like, I just need a break. And then he's like, I'm punishing you for the next 3 days because of this. And so that's going to find its way in your relationship in a lot of scenarios. And what that could do is it could also increase your cortisol levels. Like this person has the capability of essentially giving you heart disease. Like he could, people like this, people who put people in these positions, and we're talking now, and I'll get to the layer of sexualization of what he's doing, but people who control us and people who take away your agency and people who do these things to us and put us in a very lonely place in our world, because this person could have the power of taking you away from your friends, your family, who to talk to, right? Parents do this to their kids, right? So it doesn't always have to be sexual, but those levels, those chemicals in your body, they do have an incredibly negative impact in your overall lifespan and your quality of life, all right? Now let's talk about the sexualization of this. Those words are very intentional. I refuse to believe that they're not. It's not an accident, because what he would have done if it was of an accident is reread it to himself after he posted. Like we always reread our text and we're like, wait, that didn't come out right. Yeah. Like he would have corrected himself at that moment, right? Instead, he's answering to your answer. So what essentially is happening is and this happens not just in this case with your Zoom, after your Zoom call, but this happens even in online dating within the first few days, where you see a person will say something like, you don't look as innocent in your photos. I bet you, I bet you're not as innocent as you seem in your photos. Yeah. Or I want to punish you or want to get you, what he said, grounded.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you have any more photos of yourself? Like it's a way of trying to divert the conversation to a really sexual way, to see what they can get away with. Now, what could have happened instead of your response? What could have happened is you could have said something like, "Oh, how would you ground me?" And then that gives permission out of this person to be like, well, I would do this to you. Like, so now you could have had that sexual conversation, but instead you did what all smart women should do, which is even if you're into that kink, how do you, I haven't even met you.
Yeah.
How do you feel comfortable having this conversation with me? I have not met you. Right. Because there is a time and place to have those conversations. It's certainly not on your first date or even before you've even met physically.
Yeah.
Right. And I hear men and women sometimes say, well, I need to know that they're not vanilla. And it's like, first of all, that's not the worst thing that could happen to you. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? And just like whatever kink you like now does not mean you're going to like it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. Like everyone evolves.
Yeah.
Like grow up. Okay. But I think what he's trying to do is get permission from you to have that conversation. And I think he was hoping for the response of like, how would you punish me? Instead of, can you tell me what you mean by what you just said?
Yeah.
Can you, for instance, if someone asks you, if someone online says to you something like, you don't look as innocent, I bet you're not as innocent as your photos make you out to be. You could immediately block, or you could say stuff like, can you tell me why you chose those words?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, these are very interesting words you're putting together. Why are you putting them together? You know, because they make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what I would end up saying is like, you know, can you tell me what you mean by that? Here's what we said. Well, you know what? It made me it made me feel deeply uncomfortable. I don't think we should meet. I think we're looking for different things.
Yeah. That's great.
Also, why is
Outstanding.
anyone talking to you on a first date about fucking marriage?
Yeah.
You haven't even met, by the way. You only did a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then this is why I go back to like, so in the beginning when she was saying her story, I said, I'm already mad at you. Because she said she's been messaging him on the app for over a week. I have a 36-hour rule. Okay. If you guys are messaging back and forth, you got to meet in the next 36 hours. Otherwise, and meet up, not date. I just want you to meet up. I need you to get away from that mindset of like, it's a date. No, just go for a fucking walk.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for a gelato. It's hot outside. Get some bubble tea. Take a walk around the block.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense. Find out if it's there.
Find out if it's there. Thank you for calling in.
That was great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and good call. Way to go. Way to trust your instincts, huh?
Caitlin, we need like a bubble here.
You said. Thank you.
Caitlin's our positive bubble here.
I'm a little positive bubble. That's
love
me.
it.
I'm a bubble tea, baby.
Bubble tea, bubble tea. Where can people learn about your show schedule? Because you're like touring. You're around the country.
I am going around the country. I'm going to Austin next week. I'm going to Bloomington, Indiana. I'm going everywhere. So follow me at Caitlin Peluffo on Instagram. It starts with a C, Caitlin Peluffo. That's where I post all of my stuff. I'm at Caitlin Peluffo on everything. So please come find me.
Is it also your Venmo?
It's also my Venmo.
Matchmaker Maria is also my Venmo.
Right?
And that's the way to do it. Like,
I mean,
you know,
keep
it's like,
it consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and feel
Do
free to
not
Venmo
request
me.
any money. I'll just get requested for money.
I know. No. You can give me money.
Give me money. Yeah. She's got a wedding to pay for, guys.
Pretty much. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
But
Caitlin,
we'll figure it out.
I loved having you on.
This was so fun.
We're gonna have to have you on the next.
I would
in a few more
love
months.
it.
We'll have you back on, answer more questions.
Make my day.
Yeah.
This was great.
Caitlin, you're wonderful. I'm so happy people can find you. The link to follow Caitlin will be in the show notes. Follow her on Instagram. She is amazing. She is super duper funny, super relatable content. You know, that's what we like. And of course, follow this podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. Ask a Matchmaker. Follow me on Instagram. Matchmaker Maria. Ask a Matchmaker. All that stuff. And listen, You know, the summer's coming along. That doesn't mean I'm away. I'm still around. If you want to work with me or my team, the show notes has this nice little link and it says like, book a dating assessment, do a retreat, book an Agape intensive, do all the things to work with us, join our database, do all that stuff. Let's work together. And yeah, that's it. You know how we end each week. Be lovable, but more importantly, be likable. See you next week.